It was after the catastrophe, when they shot the president and machine gunned at the Congress, and the army declared an emergency state. At the time, they blamed the Islamic fanatics. To stay calm, they said on the television, everything is under control. That was when they suspended the Constitution. They say it would be temporary. There wasn't even any riot in the streets. People stayed at home at night, watching television, looking for direction. There wasn't even an enemy to identify. Wait, they've been preparing for all this. It'll be with you and I against the wall, my dear. Prepare yourself to be introduced to one of the most revolutionary writers in our times. I'm talking about Margaret Atwood. In this overview, we're going to see a little bit about her style, her life, some characteristics of her work, and how she has been impacting the world. She was born in November 18, in 1939. She started to write at the age of 5, and nowadays she is considered a poet, a novelist, an essayist, and environmental activist. She graduated in Victoria College at the University of Toronto and earned a master's degree in English literature from Radcliffe College in Cambridge, Massachusetts. She first came to public in the 60s as a poet, and one of her first works, called Double Persephone, won the E.J. Pride Medal. In her career, we can see how productive she is in the most part of her works, such as The Circle Game, The Handmaid's Tale, Alias Grace, and The Testament. She was awarded and recognized for its brilliance.
Margaret Atwood has a very unique way of writing. She doesn't see herself as a science fiction writer, but rather as a writer of speculative fiction. For her, everything she writes could happen. It's all based on real events or possibilities that already exist in your world. In her stories, women are not just characters in the background, they are the center of everything. Atwood takes the dystopian tradition, inspired by writers like Warren Huxley and Zamayatin, and gives it a male voice. Through her books, she explored themes like power, gender, oppression, patriarchy, and feminism. Another thing that stands out is the way that she uses language. Atwood shows that words can be powerful. They can be used to control people, but also to resist and fight back. Atwood's writing is deeply connected to different literary movements. First, she is part of the postmodern tradition. Her works mix genres, play with irony, and constantly make references to other books and ideas. She also is strongly linked to the feminist movement. Atwood writes about women's rights and social roles, but she doesn't take a one-side position. She questions both conservative values and some extreme with feminism, always inviting readers to think critically. And finally, she belongs to the great utopian and dystopia tradition, inspired by authors like Warren Huxley and Zamayatin. Atwood reminds this genre from a woman's point of view, turning what used to be a male-centered story into a powerful female narrative.
We were the people who were not in the papers. We live in a blank white space at the edge of a print. That silence is where The Handmaid's Tale begins. Published in 1985, The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood is a dystopian and feminist novel. It imagines a future built on fear and control, a society stripped of freedom, ruled by a theocratic dictatorship. In Gilead, women reduced to their function, their value measured only by the ability to bear children. Names, identities, desires, or erased, the nightmare of a society where human rights are not protected or destroyed. At the same time, the novel is feminist because it exposes how systems of power can silence women and limit their freedom. Throughout the story, Margaret Atwood shows the importance of women's voice, autonomy, and resistance in the face of oppression. The novel explores themes such as gender, power, religion, and freedom. It shows how the regime of Gilead controls women's identities, use of faith to legitimize authority, and turns obedience into a form of survival. At its core, the story reflects on how the loss of freedom and individuality shaped human experience under oppression. Margaret Atwood wrote The Handmaid's Tale during the Cold War, a time of fear, control, and surveillance. Living in West Berlin in 1984, she was surrounded by the reality of division and censorship, which inspired the totalitarian atmosphere of Gilead. Atwood was also responding to the rise of religious conservatism in the United States, which sought to limit women's rights. By combining these influences, she imagined a society where power, faith, and gender oppression merged. Nothing Gilead was created for imagination alone. Every rule and punishment is rooted in a real history and the oppression of women through the time. That's why The Handmaid's Tale is more than a story about the future. It reflects the past, questions the present, and warns about what may come next.
And now, one of these famous work by Margaret Atwood is The Handmaid's Tale. And look at it. Imagine a dark future. A future where freedom is gone, and strict rules control every move. So this is the Republic of Gilead. A place where women have no rights, where love is forbidden, and choices are a crime. Her name is Sophret. She's a handmaid. And her only purpose is to have a child for the powerful commanders of the Gilead. She watches all the time. She cannot read, she cannot love freely, she cannot make her own choices. But she remembers. She remains alive with a husband, a daughter, and freedom. These memories give her hope and the courage to exist quietly. Now, I ask you, what would you do if your freedom was taken? How would you stay strong if everything you knew was gone? In the end, we don't know what happens with Alfred. Does she escape? Or is she scout? We don't know. The Handmaid's Tale has a strong impact in society and culture. The story makes people thinking about women's rights, freedom, and equality. It shows how dangerous it can be when a government controls people's bodies and choices. Because of this, many women around the world either had made uniform during protests. They used it as a symbol to fight for their rights and to say, "We're not to be silenced." The book is also very important in schools and universities too. It helps students discuss politics, religious, and power, and how these can be used to control society. And for the last one, The Handmaid's Tale reminds us to protect our freedom and never accept oppression.